Last week, I told you all about my Planning 2025 challenge. This week, I'm spilling on the tools I have chosen, and after spending way too much time testing everything under the sun, well, not everything, but I've learned that simpler and familiar is better. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Pauline Nakaria, and I have a habit of doing way too much. And I am a creative who tries to balance so many plates. Some would say that it's a balancing act. So, quick recap. Earlier this year, I struggled with burnout and realized I needed to rethink how I plan my life. Think about how I can spread out priorities and not do everything all at once. Yes, that was my plan. So for 2025, I decided to make a plan and focus on what I can do and do it well while finding that sweet spot between work and life balance. And the tools? Well, choosing them was a challenge. Big challenge. Let's talk about my deep dive into planning tools. There were many options that I had a go at, but I have narrowed it down to this list of things. So I started with Notion because, well, everyone seems to use it. It's so popular. Everyone that does productivity stuff uses it. So I thought this must be it. I really did. But after spending an entire afternoon trying to figure out how to use it, I gave up. I almost cried, and my brain just couldn't get around it. Like, it was overwhelming to say the least, and I didn't even know where to start or even how to start. I even asked ChatGPT to give me a guide on how to use it and simplify it, like on how to input tasks, and even that showed me that it would take some time to learn how to use it. And I had been 3 hours in by this point. Too many templates and things to choose from. So, Notion users, please teach me your ways. But anyway, then there was Trello, cute boards, but because I had started with Notion, I just went, nah, mm-mm. Then came Lunatask. I heard that this was ADHD friendly. I tried it for a day, and that was the end. I mean, it might be great and probably would have been my go-to had I not started with Notion. But there you have it. Then Microsoft To-Do List. I actually use this often, but it wasn't linking to my Google Calendar, which I am using much more now. Listen, I was like Goldilocks and the 3+ apps over here, yeah? Nothing felt just right. So, locks, you know. Anyway, the breakthrough came when I realized something. I don't need fancy or on-trend apps or tools. I just need functional, familiar, and simple. So I went back to the basics. I thought to myself, wait, what am I currently using? And am I maximizing their use and potential? Am I? Well, Google Calendar, which is great for time blocking. Then you have Google Tasks. It syncs beautifully and actually shows on my calendar, and I don't have to input it twice. Game changer. Hello. Saves me time. Asana, well, it's actually the only new tool that I am actually using, but I found it simpler to use for project planning 2025. I can check the dashboard, which shows at what percentage I am on for each project every time I take a task off, which I love. Google Drive, great because I can create documents directly into the folder that I need for whichever project. With Microsoft, I have to save the document in the right folder and then I have to set autosave, which is very old school. But I mean, there may be ways of doing the same thing, but this was me deciding on one platform. So if you prefer Microsoft, please go ahead. Then you have the Notes app. I have an iPhone and a MacBook, so I figured I might as well indulge and get to know it better. I actually learned that I can use it to scan PDFs and actually scan documents on my phone and then save them into my files. Hashtag, just saying, I didn't know I could do that. But it has a much more similar interface like Notion. It feels more familiar and easy. Anyway, I can't explain it. But I use Notes for random ideas and quick lists on the go. Other tools that I am using for productivity are ChatGPT, which I decided to pay for, to pay for the standard plan so that I can get much more customized answers from my prompts. And I also don't run out of prompts, which I was doing quite a lot. But what I did for my plan for 2025, I Zoom recorded what I wanted to do and achieve for 2025. Then I used the transcript, which I copied and pasted into my prompt into ChatGPT to ask it it to create a plan for me, and I asked ChatGPT to prioritize what was achievable first, if there was anything that I could push back till 2026, so that this way the decisions were unbiased and much more focused. And then I use Scribble. Again, I use this for meetings, for Google Meet, and it's great for creating meeting notes and action items. And yeah, it saves me from having to write them up, but someone taking notes for that. Revelations like the time blocking, I started experimenting more with time blocking, and wow, seeing my tasks laid out in Google Calendar made me feel more confident, and adding a bit of color to the different blocks was also satisfying. But it forced me and encouraged me to take breaks, which is really hard to do when you work from home, and especially for yourself, because you just feel like you have to keep going and you're non-stop basically. But of course, there were challenges and there were successes. Yes, there were. I kept switching tools and rewriting my plans every time I switched a tool or an app. I mean, the best way I can put it, it was like I was auditioning apps for a role in my life, which I literally was for real life. But once I settled on the ones that I am familiar with, things started to click. I felt less overwhelmed and started to focus on adding quarter one tasks. Honestly, it felt great. It was just 3 months up until March that I had to just input, and that was nice. So the key takeaways is please don't judge me, people. What worked? Simplicity and familiarity. I've learned that having fewer tools that actually work for you is better than trying to master a dozen. Google Tasks and Google Calendar are working for me at the moment, and so I'm sticking to that for now, and I'll add anything that I need to. What didn't work? Overcomplicating things, spending hours tweaking plans and switching apps. Major time waster. Sometimes you just have to pick something and stick with it. So start with the apps you know and are familiar with, because trust me, you will thank me later. And then lessons learned. Planning isn't about doing everything perfectly or trying to fit everything in. It's about making space and time for what matters to allow you to progress onto the next thing. It helps you to stay focused and you realize you can prioritize, which makes tasks feel achievable. And I'm excited to see how this actually approach evolves. But I have to also keep reminding myself that I need not to look at the full year ahead, and that I should trust the system for the next 3 months and then review it in 3 months' time at the end of March. I just like to be in control. But yeah, so yeah, those are the things. But overall, it's been a very insightful experience. There you have it, my top tools and tips for planning my 2025 calendar. And a little insight into my chaotic yet to be productive journey, because I am very hopeful. But what about you? What tools do you use? What tools do you swear by? Please share them in the comments, because I am always up for trying something new, maybe, or adding it to what I'm currently doing. But please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time for more planning, adventures, and challenges. Yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.